Whiskers. Whiskers was not like the other kittens in his litter. While his siblings loved to chase each other, nap in the sun, or bat at dangling strings, Whiskers preferred to sit by the window and gaze out at the world beyond. He had soft grey fur, big, curious green eyes, and a heart full of dreams. But he often felt that the world outside seemed so much bigger and more intimidating than he was ready for. One bright morning, as Whiskers lay on his favorite windowsill, watching the birds fluttering by, he saw something that made his little heart race. A small bird had fallen from its nest and was chirping helplessly on the ground. Whiskers' eyes widened as he looked at the tiny bird. It was shivering and looked up at him with wide, frightened eyes. Whiskers felt a rush of sympathy and knew that he had to help. But the world beyond the window seemed so vast and frightening. The trees loomed like giants. The grass seemed endless. And the unknown was a terrifying thought for a little kitten like him. Despite the fear in his chest, Whiskers decided he couldn't just stay inside. With a deep breath, he scampered down the windowsill and trotted toward the door. His tiny paws trapped against the wooden floor. As he approached the cat flap, he paused for a moment, looking back at the warmth and safety of the cottage. He was just so small and everything outside seemed so big. He couldn't just ignore the cry of the little bird. Whiskers pushed the flap open with his nose and, with a trembling yet determined heart, stepped into the great outdoors. The soft grass tickled his paws, and the warm sunshine bathed his fur. The air smelled of flowers and fresh earth. And for a moment, Whiskers felt brave. He looked around and saw the tiny bird on the ground, chirping anxiously. Whiskers approached slowly, trying not to startle it. "Don't worry, I'm here to help you," he said in his most confident voice, even though his own heart was pounding. The bird looked up at him with wide eyes, still trembling. "I can't get back to my nest," the bird chippered. "It's too high up in the tree. I'm scared." Whiskers' little heart swelled with empathy. He knew he had to help, but he thought of climbing the big, towering tree was frightening. He had never climbed a tree before and wasn't sure if he could make it. But then he remembered something. He had seen his mother climb trees effortlessly. He remembered how she would gracefully scale the trunks and leap from branch to branch, always too sure of herself. If she can do it, maybe I can too. Determined to help, Whiskers puffed out his chest and looked up at the tall tree that stood just a few steps away. Its branches swayed gently in the breeze and its leaves rustled softly. Whiskers felt a surge of courage. "I'll find a way to help you," he declared, though a little nervousness crept into his voice. The bird chirped in the way that seemed both relieved and hopeful. Whiskers knew he couldn't waste any more time. With a deep breath, he scampered toward the tree. His little paws slid against the bark as he began to climb. It was much harder than he thought. His claws, though sharp, had trouble gripping through rough bark. A few times he slipped and he had to start over, but he never gave up. He told himself, "If I can do this, I'm a brave kitten, and I'll save the bird." After what felt like an eternity, Whiskers finally reached the branch where the bird's nest was located. He looked down at the ground far below and then back at the nest. Nestled safely among the leaves, the little bird was looking up at him, still frightened but full of trust. With a deep breath, Whiskers carefully nudged at the little bird into his mouth. He wasn't sure how he would carry it down, but he knew he had to get it safely back to the ground. Carefully, he began to make his way down the tree, one paw at a time, clutching the bird gently. The climb down was just as difficult as the climb up, but Whiskers' determination kept him going. His little heart raced with excitement and fear as he descended. When he finally reached the ground, he gently set the bird down. The little bird fluttered its wings and chirped happily. "Thank you, brave kitten. You saved me," the bird exclaimed. "I never thought I would get back to my nest, but you helped me find my way." Whiskers felt a warmth fill his chest. He had done it. He had been brave, and he had helped the little bird. The bird, flapping its wings excitedly, and took off, flying back to its nest high in the tree. Whiskers watched the bird soar into the sky, feeling proud and happy. He may have been small, but he had done something big and important. From that day on, Whiskers never felt afraid of the outside world again. He had discovered that courage doesn't come from being the biggest or the strongest. Sometimes bravery comes from simply trying, even when you are scared. And even the smallest of creatures can do great things if they believe in themselves. Moral of the story: true bravery comes from within. It's not about being the biggest or the strongest, but about having the courage to face challenges, no matter how big or small they may seem. Thank you for joining Whiskers on his brave adventure. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Little Story Explorers for more exciting stories. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned that even the tiniest hearts can have the greatest courage. Stay tuned for more heartwarming tales.